So for this first video, we're going to discuss angle of attack. And for you amateur golfers out there, it's very important that in order to maximize distance that we do hit it on the up. I've set up a nice little drill here. We have a range basket here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this alignment rod probably about 6 inches to 7 inches behind the ball. And maybe, 6 inches above the ground as well. And what this is going to force me to do is to try and get my club as low to the ground as possible. As it's coming down to the ball, it can level out and then I can hit it on the up. So if you think back to some of the setup stuff we discussed, we talked about ball position and we also talked about side bend. And these two things are very important to help us hit the ball on the up. And I would like to make sure that everyone understands what hitting the ball on the up means and what low point is. So low point basically means is that the club reaches the lowest point in its arc somewhere anywhere between 3, 4, 5 inches behind the ball. And because the ball is up in our stance, it's going to allow us to actually strike the ball on the upswing. There again, bear in mind we discussed the tee height. It's important that you have a tee height that allows you to get the club to get nice and shallow and hit on the up and still hit it out of the upper half of the club. So let's go ahead, give it a rip. So we just did a video from down the line, but I would like to shoot one from face on, just so that you can get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. Like we discussed in the setup, we're going to have the ball up in our stance off our left heel. We're going to have a little bit of side bend, and this is going to make it easier for this club to get nice and low to the ground, level out, and then hit the ball on the upswing because of where it's placed in our stance. Like I mentioned before, we don't want to set up like this because then we'll hit this rod on our downswing and that's going to rob us of distance. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this one here and hopefully it'll give you a clear picture.